Welcome to That Damn Fantasy Show. Here are your damn hosts, Paul and Steve.
Welcome into That Damn Fantasy Show, and we are your damn hosts, Paul Catalina and Steve May.
Howdy, howdy.
We have a lot to talk about, and I'm just going to say this on the fly. Steve is going to do a segment post-show that we're going to release separately that are your stardom and sit 'em, so people can just have it nice little, like, wrapped up in a bow. They don't have to scrub through this video and the minutia of us talking about certain things. But I want to jump in. First off, we are on the hunt for a theme song.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to play the two, at least snippets of the two we played on the show last week.
Okay.
And then you have, you and the computer and the robots have written two new songs.
Yes, two rap-ish songs, and that almost sounded really bad. And
Rap-ish.
and a yacht rock.
And a yacht rock.
Yes,
So,
which is horrible.
all right, so here we go. This is the one that's more like the southern rock
Yeah.
groove one, and we played this last week.
Paul and Steve, they roll the dice. Fantasy dreams ain't always nice. Crunching numbers late at night, seeking that glory shining bright. Touchdowns, fantasies on their mind. Draft day heroes hard to find. In the trenches week by week, every matchup fierce and sleek. That damn fantasy show, where the green-eyed dreams get sown.
Okay.
The chorus on that one's very good.
Like if that was just used as an intro, that might be.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. It might be a little too wordy for just an overall theme.
That's what
song.
I'm saying. The verses are.
Yeah. It does though have the feel of Monday Night Football,
Hank
College
Williams.
Game Day,
Yeah.
like, a little bit. All
The
right.
other one was
Here's the other one, which
90s humorous.
90s humorous.
Paul talks stats all day. Steve just wants to play. With picks they obsess in a way that's so no nonsense. Dreaming of that win, point stacking again. With trades they gamble high, fantasies where they fly. Oh, that damn fantasy show. Paul and Steve on the go, with lineup tips and
No, it's
Yeah.
not. And it's got a very Perfect Strangers vibe to it. Like Full House, TGIF thing. If we wanted to do that,
Yeah.
I think we have to shoot an open that, where, we look up,
Yeah.
and Mike as the producer. and then Mike's like fumbling around with wires and things.
And then shrugs.
Yeah. Oops. Yeah. We have to make, here's the thing. I don't think Mike would like that because we have to make him seem like he's haphazard and bad at his job,
Right,
which he's
is-
not.
No, right.
Because otherwise, the producer on any show within a show is usually some kind of doofus, except for Roz on Frasier, where Roz was on top of things for the
Yes,
most part.
yes.
She was just slutty, and that was her thing. I'm sure Mike would prefer that moniker to but any other show, for whatever reason, the producers are always the dumb ones, or it's verse. The talent is really stupid and the producers are really smart, or the talent is really smart and the producers are inept.
Well-
and from being in this business for a long time now, I can tell you, for the most part, the producers are always smarter.
That's right.
For the most part.
Yeah.
I mean, believe me, I've had my exceptions where you're like, oh, son, what is wrong with you?
I sent you some new ones today.
Okay, so this one,
So it's the first one's going to be one of the rap ones.
well, judging by the art that they put with it, I think they
The art's horrible.
that
Yeah.
they mistook what fantasy meant.
Yeah.
Because it's it's like dragons and minotaurs and otherworldly creatures.
Yo, it's Paul and Steve with the fantasy flow. Tune in weekly to the damn fantasy show. Back in the day, we drafted with care. Now Paul and Steve got the knowledge to share. Running backs, quarterbacks, wide receivers too. Pick your fantasy squad, win it out of the blue. That damn fantasy. Every week we run it. Damn fantasy. the fantasy man. Hey Steve, what's the winning play? Stack 'em wide out, all day, every day. What's your advice for the ugly slot? Grab a bell cow, they hot, they hot. Gonna break down stats, sleepers and busts. Paul and Steve, the analysts you trust. Line your team up, set your lineups right. Dominate your league, win that prize tonight. That damn fantasy. Every week we run a damn fantasy.
Okay.
All right.
As a fan of a great deal of rap music, that feels to me like a late 80s, early 90s.
LL
peak.
Cool J.
Not even that.
Wow.
It feels more like a PSA to stay in school.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. The more you know.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. Like, oh, we've got Young MC to do
Yeah.
a PSA about reading.
Little Busta Rhymes.
Yeah. Now, Busta was late 90s, and, you know, he was much. But now, if we could do it in the style of Busta Rhymes, you can't put, like, specific artists in.
No, but we can play around with that one.
All right.
Play the
'cause-
next one. The next one's a rap one, too.
Yeah, if you really want to party with me, put your hands where the eyes can see. You know.
Yeah. Yo, it's Paul and Steve, the great irritate supreme fantasy ballers living out a dream. Analyze the stats, draft schemes on lock. Tune in, tune up, fantasy talk the block. Damn fantasy show where champions are made. Paul and Steve's advice, you'll never be played. From waiver wire gems to sleepers galore. Winning moves with swag, you'll be back for more. Steve's got the scoop for them secret.
Do you remember Ghostbusters 2?
That sounded, yes. Yes.
So Ghostbusters, the original Ghostbusters, had the Ray Parker Jr. Classic.
That he copied
Who you're going to call? Yes.
from Huey Lewis in the News.
Yeah. So, but then in Ghostbusters 2, they opted and even gave a small cameo to Bobby Brown.
Yes.
For that one, and that's what it feels like to me. Ghostbusters, and that's
Remember
who
the
you call. You know,
the song Vanilla Ice did for the
Ninja
Yeah.
rap. Yes. That he apparently in the movie just made up on the spot because that was the end of the movie at the Vanilla Ice concert.
Yeah.
And then he just, unless he had, here's my question about that song. Was he waiting just for the opportunity to rap to the Ninja Turtles and had it in the holster? And then when they came there and saved the day, he was like, guys, we finally get to. Or was Vanilla Ice that skilled that
No.
he on the spot made up a song about the Ninja
No.
Turtles?
No.
Okay, and so this last one is Yacht Rock.
Yacht Rock, and this one's bad.
You were not happy. You were excited about the Yacht Rock.
Yeah.
You were excited about it.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Paul's got the stats, man, he's always known. Steve's got the charm and his cue is flow. Trade deals and lineups, the drama, it's growing. That damn fantasy show where the giggles keep going. Paul's savior pick was not cold in the first place. Steve Jam of a QB threw ducks yesterday. Frustrated and laughing, they break down the day with a yacht rock groove while they find the right way. That damn fantasy show where the numbers roll slow, injuries take their toll. Paul and Steve still the glow. They argue.
That's every day for us. So
Man,
That's
watch
fun.
out, Adele. We're coming for your Grammys. That's for sure.
So the music on that one was good.
Yeah.
That's pretty close to what
Yeah.
you want, but the lyrics were
Yeah.
a miss.
Yeah, we need to tell R2D2 to go back to the shop, go back to the drawing board there. But we have 5 things. So next week,
Country?
country, and maybe like can you put like an 80s sitcom or 70s
Yeah,
sitcom?
yeah.
Like maybe that kind of
Okay,
thing.
yeah.
So if we're gonna because the 90s one is there, but if we could have like the 70s and 80s vibe of the Jeffersons are all in the family, or maybe who's
Good
who's
Times?
who's the good times, who's the boss was. Well, that song was not Steve Winwood, Steve Warner did that song
For which one?
for Who's the Boss.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which one was? And then Growing Pains was like similar, like Show Me
Alan-
That Smile Again.
Well, it was Alan Thicke, but did he sing it? I think he sang it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't waste another minute on your crying. Then maybe we can find like a Baywatch theme one. By the way, did anybody during the NFL the other day see the commercials for the new show that was Rescue High Surf?
Yes, and my son and I laughed when the title of the show popped up. The sad part is, I shouldn't say that. My wife will probably love that show.
Oh yeah.
She watches all those.
So here's what I wonder what the pitch was for that was. It's like Baywatch in Hawaii. We already had Baywatch Hawaii. Okay, it's like Baywatch Hawaii, but serious. Like there are real stakes here,
It's like Hawaii Five-0 Baywatch.
but in the water.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, to the week, I want to start with Steve. You very much believe in the Madden curse.
I do.
And I am a person who, since the Red Sox lost their curse and the Cubs lost theirs, and as a Red Sox fan, I often quote Pedro Martinez, who has my favorite sports quote of all time. And it is nothing inspiring. It is nothing like, it's not Muhammad Ali, but a reporter asked him after a game when they lost to the Yankees in the playoffs, do you believe in the curse of the Bambino? And he said, look, I'm telling you, I don't believe in them curses. Dig up the Bambino, I'll drill him into ass. And it's my favorite quote of all time, anything sports. And so I tend to, I live my life by the Pedro
Yes.
thing. And because, look, if I believed in curses, I would think that the Jimmy Johnson curse on the Cowboys should have been exercised because they finally put him very deservedly in the Ring of Honor. You believe in the Madden curse. It has struck me double hard in our league,
Yep.
Steve, in the Central Texas Fantasy Football League, year 27. I drafted Christian McCaffrey with the third pick of our draft. And the first two picks were Mahomes and Allen. And so my choice was either Lamar Jackson or Christian McCaffrey based on how the draft was going. Hindsight, maybe Lamar Jackson. But even still, I don't like drafting a quarterback first, ever. I always feel I can find value in other places.
Yeah.
And if I've got the third pick and the first two guys have passed on what are only going to be like a few bell cow running backs, I'm going to take the bell cow of all bell cows. So I took him, and I felt fine about it. He played relatively healthy last year, especially for Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah. Offensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, Offensive Player of the Year. So I was like, okay, I'm going to ride this wave while it's still there to ride. Well, I handcuffed it later in the draft. I think maybe with the last or second to last pick was Elijah Mitchell. And so I felt good about that. And then I get in the car and go home. And immediately when I walk in the door, I get an alert on Twitter that Elijah Mitchell is out for the season. Now, when we were drafting, there was none of this online.
No.
He was available. So the 49ers screwed me there. Then yesterday, the 49ers screwed me again by saying all week that Christian McCaffrey was likely going to play, knowing that he wasn't, and Jordan Mason was going to play.
Yes, he confirmed
now,
that too.
I could not have picked up Jordan Mason, but I could have made other changes to my lineup before, but I was betting on the 49ers, not lying to all of us about Christian McCaffrey. And so running, Monday night comes, I'm screwed. Mm-hmm. I'm totally screwed, and I'm pissed off because there's nothing I can do. I have to hope Garrett Wilson has, a historic night. And I lost last night to Keith Thornall.
Yeah.
And who had Jordan Mason on his bench.
Yeah.
But que sera, sera. So have I fallen victim to the Madden curse on two levels?
So the Madden curse. So the Madden video game has been out. Are we to 30 years yet? It's got to be around
it's
there.
Close to. It was 25 a couple years ago.
So if you look back, and anybody listening to this should know what the Madden curse is. Where if you're on the cover, you're going to get hurt or have a horrible year. And obviously there's been years where that hasn't happened. Last year was Josh Allen on the cover. He had a solid year, played the whole year. It was fine. But well over half, if you go back and look, there's something wacky that goes on. So I do keep that in the back of my head when I'm drafting. So this year in the 8 leagues I'm in, I did get McCaffrey on one team.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a league I did poorly in last year, so I had the first pick. So I was like, what the hell? I'll go ahead and do it just so I have him just in case. But I didn't feel good about it at all. And then yesterday happened and kind of backs it up. So, yeah, I mean, there's not much you can do there because everybody that got McCaffrey, if you were drafting a handcuff, 90% of everybody drafted Elijah Mitchell because, like you said, there was no heads up at all. Even during our draft, there nothing by his name, nothing
on any site.
No.
Like there was not like no 49er sites had it, nothing.
No.
And I looked because I had him in my queue for about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And I spent that 20 minutes like I'm once I finished looking through these sites and especially 49er sites and reporters I know and trust, that this will be fine. And no.
Yeah.
They played, and here's the thing: they played the night before, or
Yeah.
2 nights before,
Yeah.
and he didn't. He played in the game, not for very long, and then all of a sudden he's got this debilitating hamstring injury, and I'm like, "Hey guys, throw a Q. Just throw a Q by his name. That's all you do. If you throw a Q by his name in the draft, I'm not going to probably draft him.
Yeah.
You
So
know,
I
especially him.
I drafted Mitchell in the Scott Fish Bowl because that's like 22 rounds. So at the end, you're just grabbing somebody that might. And he was still there. I was like, well, you never know. Because when he was healthy, he would get some run during the games. And so when that happened, I cut him and picked up someone else. But, yeah, that's how it goes. But I do believe it obviously is something fun to believe in. But the evidence is there.
Yeah. And so that leads me into I have already given up on this season for us because I am going to be 0-2.
Yeah.
McCaffrey's likely not going to play this week either. And I also, I drafted both Devin Achane and Raheem Mostert. Well, the Dolphins and Bills play on Thursday. Both of them are banged up, and should it be a Sunday game, I would think that Achane would play.
Yeah.
But since it's a Thursday game and they have the quick turnaround, this has really affected fantasy football in what I think is a catastrophic way. And if you ask the players about Thursday games, to a man,
Yeah.
they think that should be holidays only. Opening the season, which is a holiday, really basically for them, Thanksgiving, and if Christmas falls on a Thursday. Otherwise, there should be no Thursday games. Every single one of them hates it. You will not find a player who's like, you know what? I like having a 3-day weekend. They don't. They hate it.
Well, they don't like to lead up to that short week, but I do think they find time to relax because then you got basically 10 days off after. But Achane, Mostert. So Jeff Wilson came out of the blue. I wasn't even sure if he was still on the roster, and he played. But Jalen Wright is the guy everybody's picking up.
Yeah.
If he wasn't drafted, he was drafted in a lot of leagues.
Yeah.
But for a waiver wire pickup,
I have very few options to deal with when it comes to the running back position on that team. So I basically just need to take, I'm just going to take some L's until it works itself out.
Yeah.
And so I have to hope to rally at the end of the season, but I'm going to probably be in an 0-3 hole no matter what. Unless I make the most brilliant pickup ever.
well, in our league, that could be 0-6.
Yeah. I mean,
We have a matchup against the median score each week. So
yeah. So I'm going to be 0-3 and then it's not going to be good. I'm already preparing next year to say with the first pick I select Patrick Mahomes. I'm not messing with this anymore, or whatever. But
and our league is a super flex league.
Yeah.
That's why quarterbacks go early. But if you want to deviate from that and get another stud from a running back or receiver spot,
Well,
you do what you do. It made perfect sense when you drafted him.
I have two things that I never do, and the Madden curse isn't one of them. I never draft people that have been holding out because they usually start slow and get injured. I never draft people coming off an injury because they start slow and might get injured again. So that's what I try to avoid. And like depends on what the injury is. Like if it's a broken finger, I don't care. But if it's a year-long hamstring thing, knees, stuff like if it's a quarterback, if they're throwing shoulder, I'm out.
Yeah.
You know, I'll take the chance. So all of these people that fell into all of them had that category except Devin Achane, who missed the latter part of last year, but the Dolphins are so deep at running back. I think he could have come back, but they were like, yeah, well,
good.
Raheem Mostert scored 30 touchdowns or whatever it was.
Yeah.
We're okay without him. We're not going to risk it because he's a rookie. And here he is injured again. So I am utterly screwed. And my waiver position is not great. So getting Jeff Wilson is going to be nigh impossible because someone will get him just to –
I don't know if anybody will go after him.
Someone will. Someone will. You and I are actually playing this week in the league. So,
Okay.
now that I've said it, you might. I don't know.
I'm good. I've won my week, so
I'm utterly screwed. And
I take that back. I had Jordan Love.
yeah,
He's going to be out. They keep saying, oh, he might play. He's not playing this week. So in a super flex, that's why you draft 3 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So this week I'll be starting Stroud and Sam Darnold in that spot. And I put Jordan Love on the IR, and I forget who I'm going after. There's somebody I'm going to try to pick up, but it's not Jeff Wilson.
yeah. So I've got work to do.
Yeah.
On my team this week. All right, Steve. So let's talk about some of the things that did happen this week in a segment I would like to call "What the hell was that?" Let's start out with mine to the Atlanta Falcons and Raheem Morris. Hey, Falcons, the hell was that? Kirk Cousins not good.
No.
Bijan Robinson was okay.
Better than last year.
Better than last
in the
year.
Arthur Smith offense.
Yeah,
So
better than last year, but they didn't play. Drake London, nothing. Kyle Pitts scored a touchdown.
which is rare. So
Yeah.
that was actually good for him.
Yeah,
The concern in that game was Kirk Cousins.
yeah.
And I heard some analysis yesterday.
Who's coming off an Achilles tear.
Yep.
And he's 36 years old.
So he is normally an under the center quarterback.
Yeah.
In that game, he was in shotgun or pistol almost the entire game, which was basically saying, hey, he can't take the snap and then back up quick enough, 3 or 4 steps and get into his throwing motion. So they put him in shotgun. So that's a big red flag there. We might be seeing Michael Penix earlier than what we thought if they keep faltering. And but yeah, Drake London, nothing. Bijan, I was okay with that.
I have Bijan in one of my leagues, and Bijan was my first round pick because I was picking 5th, and then my second round pick was Jalen Hurts.
Yeah,
both fine for me. I won that league week 1 barely. George Kittle did not catch passes in the 4th quarter, which because they were dominating, they quit throwing the ball, and I was like, thank you 49ers for at least that. Because the hell was that is what the hell was that 49ers for all your, lies and deception regarding the running back position.
Mine would be the New York Giants.
Okay, so let me do it. New York Giants. The hell was that?
Honestly, not surprised because Daniel Jones is horrible, but I think everybody got sucked into the Hard Knocks preseason show, which was great, very well done. And they lose Saquon. Saquon goes to Philly and lights it up for 2 or 3 touchdowns.
3
in week 1, and then Jones gets out there, man, and just another stat that popped up. Since he's been back from his injury, in the games he's played, he's actually thrown more touchdowns to the other team than his own team.
Yes,
3-2.
Yes.
So I would not play any Giants. Neighbors, everybody was high on him, but as long as Jones is back there, it's going to struggle. I think Brian Daboll will probably get fired by week 5 or 6. Singletary isn't a great running back.
No, he's not.
It's
if
just-
if you have a team that's like, look, we're fine with starting Devin Singletary. Ask the Texans how that worked
Yeah.
out for them. They had one good Devin Singletary game, and then they realized like, hey, we can't put this all on C.J. Stroud, so let's go get Joe Mixon.
Yeah.
They signed Cam Akers as well. Like, Cam Akers has had an injury history, and he's a bit of a sojourner now, but getting Joe Mixon was a good thing, and he had a good week for them as well. So
It's almost like looking at the way that roster is constructed right now, they're basically planning to tank. And
well,
it just,
they've got some pieces on defense that they'll keep.
yeah,
that they'll
yeah,
like,
they'll stay competitive, but the offense isn't going to.
but their offense is going to be Malik Neighbors. Like, they're going to have to build it around getting a quarterback for him.
Yeah.
Which they really wanted to do last year, but they were boxed out based on that. Like, they were just good enough.
Yeah.
Tommy Cutlett shouldn't have won those games.
So last week we talked about streaming defenses.
Yeah.
So this week, the one I'm picking up is Washington. Because if you remember last year, game 1 with Quinn as the defense coordinator, they shut him out 40-0. Quinn is now in Washington. So I'm expecting Washington to win that game and to get multiple turnovers. So that's kind of my sneaky pick.
Yeah. Big injuries week 1. T. Higgins was out. He may play this week. I doubt it.
Yeah.
Hamstrings take a minute. I have him on a roster, which bums me. I have him 2 rosters, actually. I really do like T. Higgins quite a bit. Puka Nacua.
Yep.
You had said you were bigger on Cooper Kupp. Well, Puka Nacua had 5 catches before he got hurt.
He was hurt. He was hurt leading up through the season, so that's why I avoided him.
He's on IR.
Yep.
So if you've got him, put him on IR. He'll be back, and clearly their offense is going to run through Kupp and Puka.
Yeah. But Demarcus Robinson is someone I would target on waiver wires this week. But I was actually going to do a little segment where I was right, where I was wrong last week.
Okay.
So I was right on Puka Nacua. Definitely right on Deshaun Watson.
Okay.
Remember last week I said it looks like he just doesn't want to be there.
Deshaun Watson could very well, what the hell was that?
Yeah.
Which is what all those masseuses said to him. The hell was that, man? And now he has another lawsuit pending, which is even worse.
Yep.
I read an article today. The Browns there's a clause in the contract that if he didn't disclose that this could have happened before they signed him to this contract, they can void it.
Yeah.
And
so
I am betting, beyond betting, that when they said, okay, when all of the, the girls you try to get a tug from, when all that's done, is there anything else we need to know about? I am betting that he said no.
Yeah.
Because he'd been like,
Yeah.
they've been like, well, I mean, what negotiating power are you,
It's a mess. So I was right there where I was wrong. I mentioned Blake Corum for the Rams. Didn't even get a carry.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened there. And then the Charger running back situation, I was getting Gus Edwards. And he's still going to have some value, but clearly J.K. Dobbins was the guy. And after that performance that he put up, I would see them riding him as long as possible.
J.K.
So
Dobbins
on that one.
has just been the unluckiest dude in the
Yeah,
world.
yeah.
People thought very highly of him, but he keeps getting hurt.
Yeah.
He kept getting hurt in Baltimore, which is why they ultimately let him go. Anything else you feel you were wrong about, you need to unburden yourself about?
No, I feel pretty good.
Okay. All right. I mean, so that's good. That you didn't miss anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nothing at all.
So we're gonna do starts and sits later. Do you have good feelings about? Did you see anything like rookie wise, like young player wise, that you said, oh hell, this is interesting?
Well, another what the hell was that? Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah. The hell was that?
Man, there's some plays there. I think they showed him over and over, so everybody probably saw it. He is wide open, and Murray is not even looking his direction. So I think there's a tendency now to want to trade him, try to get something. I would still hold on to him. He's still the number one there. The Cardinals looked okay in that game.
Michael Wilson is pretty good.
Yeah, and Dortch.
And like that, and that's who Kyler's comfortable with.
Yeah.
It'll get there.
Yeah,
It'll get there.
Yeah. Trey McBride looked good. I was right on him.
Yeah.
But yeah, Harrison was another I know it would be hard to sit him this week, but you might, if you have a better option, you might want to.
Yeah.
Just to see what happens.
I'd like to claim one right on something. Ladd McConkey is going to catch the most passes for the Chargers this year. He's going to. Like they're just going to feed him.
Yeah.
And the Chargers offense is going to it's taking a huge if they can keep running the ball like that, it makes Justin Herbert that much more of a weapon. How they messed that up the last couple of years under Brandon Staley, I'll never understand. But Jim Harbaugh going to be committed to the run, and taking pressure off of his quarterback, and then using one of the best passers in the game to light it up. They just don't have the weapons for him on the outside just yet because Quentin Johnston has not worked out.
Yeah, he got a lot of targets.
Yeah.
On Sunday though.
I mean they're going to try. So
another one I missed on. I was really high on Cole Kmet. That may still pan out.
The Bears did not play well on offense either.
No, Caleb Williams struggled, which was expected. But the tight end there that got the most targets was Gerald Everett.
Yeah.
Which was very surprising. So something to keep an eye on. Kmet is still the number one, but again, if you have a better tight end option, you might want to look that way.
Well, the best rookie wide receiver might be McConkey, or Brian Thomas appears to have really made strides there. And he was, to me, outside of Rome Odunze, the best actual route runner in the draft. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes in Jacksonville and where it all leads. So anything you want to injury wise that you want to tell people to look out for this week?
I think we covered all the main ones. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, so I guess just talking about Kirk Cousins not being healthy, Deshaun Watson maybe being put on the commissioner's exempt list here. Maybe if you have the spot for him, Jameis Winston or Michael Penix in a deeper league, you're going to have it. Especially if you have a super flex, it may not be bad. Michael Penix is older. He's 25 years old. So I actually think that when he steps in and starts playing, again, his problem was staying healthy. He is excellent. He's an excellent passer. So I think he could step in and play. And I know that Kirk Cousins was mad about it, but you kind of see why the Falcons. I kind of understand that. Everybody was freaking out about it.
Yeah.
But I was they know something. Here they made the big deal and they're willing to do it, but they really want to hedge their bets here.
Yep. In a single quarterback league, surprisingly, Baker Mayfield is available in 30 to 35% of the leagues.
Yeah.
Out there.
I'm surprised that he is that available. I had a friend in our other league who was at dinner and forgot it was I thought it was Monday. I'm no, it's Sunday. And so he didn't set his auto draft preferences, so he got, and that's in the league with a bunch of IDPs. So he said, how do I just give me some ideas on how I should fill out this bench. I'm well, you at least need to get a second quarterback. And I said, I would get Baker Mayfield. And he's and he lives in Orlando. He's no, man, I don't want, I'm telling you, Liam Cohen is the offensive coordinator. He's a quarterback guru. Will Levis got, drafted in the second round because Liam Cohen was his coach. You look at the root concepts and the thing they're doing to get those. They have really good wide receivers.
Oh,
there.
yeah.
They have two of the best. They have two number ones in Godwin and Evans. Evans is the greatest wide receiver in Buccaneers history, and they'll probably name a highway after him there. They're beloved in Tampa.
Yeah.
And then you got Godwin over there. Then they drafted Jalen McMillan. They also last year got Trey Palmer. They have weapons for him.
Yeah.
And then he really likes Kate Otten for some reason.
Yeah.
But they're
loaded.
They're loaded. He's going to throw the ball to Rashad White a lot. Rashad White's a nice player for this year.
Bucky Irving, another rookie, had a decent game.
Yeah.
So,
I like the Bucs this year. They're in the NFC South, man. That's the worst division in the NFC.
By
in
far.
that the Panthers are terrible.
Yeah.
The Saints might be good, but Derek Carr is still a quarterback, so it's going to be feast or famine.
They played the Panthers this
They
week,
played the
so,
Panthers. You have the Falcons, who we saw, have weapons, but their quarterback is old and coming off an injury that would end most careers at 36. But he and Aaron Rodgers. And then you have the Bucs, who have a healthy Baker Mayfield who's happy and signed an extension, and he's got some of the better wide receivers in the game, and their defense isn't bad, and they've got a defensive-minded head coach. I don't know. I mean, they're my pick to win that division.
Oh, sure.
So I would have no problem. I would have no problem in our if I had Baker Mayfield playing him in my Superflex spot, I would leave him there and never touch him. Unfortunately, because of where I was, I kept getting sniped on the second quarterback I was trying to pick, and I got stuck to where I was like, okay, now I'm going to get – okay, I have Tua. Well, I like that. Leading passer last year. Great. Okay, that's my quarterback. And he probably would have my super flex had I drafted Lamar, you know. But so I got Tua. Okay, well, then I'll get Baker. Nope. Boom. Baker got him. Okay, well, there's nobody I really want here. So let me get a wide receiver. I'll do that. Okay, I'll take this wide receiver. And then, like, comes back around. There's no quarterbacks to take. I'm like, okay, I got him right here. No way. This guy's already got 3 quarterbacks. No, he's got 4 now. Okay, great. Thanks a lot. You son of a bitch.
Who'd you end up getting for your second quarterback?
Will Levis.
Oh, that's right.
Who is a season-ending injury by anybody else, like just suspension or whatever. Like as soon as if Jameis Winston takes over in Cleveland, Jameis Winston's in that spot if I can get him. Bottom line, I'm saying this right now, and our league's probably watching. Going, no, you won't.
Yeah.
No, we want you to pull the old baby Huey, which is go 0-13 while trying.
Nice call back there.
Yeah. And let's end on that story. Let's end on that story because it's just too good.
Gosh.
For the new people in our audience, we at the very beginning of Steve and I's romance.
Yes.
The beginning of this. He was coming on the morning show I was doing with Steve Fallon, and he was giving us like fantasy advice. It was one of the better segments in radio nationally. It was awarded by all the top publications.
Yes.
I'm sure you read about it in the trades.
One of Peabody.
But we decided to do like, what if we got together like a community league of different listeners, and we did a bunch. So we did 10 leagues, 10 teams each, 100 people. And it was a wild success for a couple years. It was really hard to put together, and eventually we was like,
we actually did it for 8 years.
Yeah, we did it for 8 years. 8 years we had these drafts. We put the team together. We'd have the draft at a place. So this particular year we had the draft at the Texas Sports Hall of Fame.
That's right. We had 160 people playing.
Yeah.
So 16 different leagues.
Yeah, we had gotten really full of ourselves, and it was going well. It was going well. We had a lot. We had media coverage. It was great. So we had a league that was for the people who were not allowed to win. Like, we couldn't win the prizes. Mm-hmm. So because we couldn't win the prizes, we had a league that was me and you and a couple other media people. It was the media league. And then a salesman at our station named Rich. And if I can describe Rich, I would describe him as a dumbass. I mean, I have to, like, it's the only way, like, when you know him, and if I said describe him in one word, the best word is dumbass.
Yes.
He's a dumbass. And
owes me money.
Yes. He owes us all. He owes us money. Like, it's not good. And I'm
gonna get sued for slander here.
I'm not saying his last name. But so anyway, Rich, being the dumbass that he is, decides that he knows more than all of us about sports, about everything.
Yeah.
And if you talk to him about it, you very quickly know that is not true, that it is all window dressing. Like, it's all just – and so he drafted a fantasy football team that there was a Sports Illustrated article about, like, the glue guys on every team. Mm-hmm. And that was basically his team, was a bunch of guys that, like, if I was putting together a real team, oh, hell yeah, I'd want to have them on my team. Yeah. But fantasy football is not about, like, the best blocking wide receiver. It's about the one who catches the most touchdowns. Yeah. So he built his team around that. And after the draft, he was the cat who ate the canary, and he was like, oh, you guys are in for some trouble. Like, I outfoxed you at every turn. And we took a break in the middle, and you and I and another person, I think it was maybe even Zach Burke, who works here and might produce the show some nights. Zach and I came over, and we're like, what the fuck is he doing? Don't tell him. Like, we're like, don't tell him.
Yeah.
And Zach, Mike knows this, is a very sweet person. It was like, I should probably tell him. Like, I was like, no, don't tell him anything.
Yeah.
Like, we're halfway through this thing. I want to see how this ends up. And so he went, it's not unprecedented for a team to go winless, but mostly those teams that go winless are
the 27 years I've been playing fantasy football, multiple leagues every year, unless someone just dropped out and just left their team, that's the only instance I can think of where someone went winless and putting forth some effort.
Well, and he put forth a lot of effort.
Yeah.
Put forth a lot of effort. He was really working on hard. And the thing that's amazing is he didn't even come close to winning.
No.
Like, week to week, like, even teams that had their worst week of the year still beat him by 30 points. And it was, I mean, it turned into a huge bit on the radio. But he went 0-13 while trying his damn. You know, I had a guy in the league that 2 years ago, before like he could disclose it, but he's in the military and he's a helicopter pilot, so he can get called away. Like, he's in the kind of helicopter pilot units that they're like, "Hey, what are you doing right now?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm having dinner with my kids." He's like, "No, you're not. You're getting ready to go do, like, we're going to this place and you're dropping these guys in this spot," kind of a thing. Like, that's the kind of stuff he does. That's top secret. So he can't just like text me and be like, "Hey, can you make sure my lineup is set because I've got to go protect your freedom?" Like, he can't tell anybody he's going to protect the freedom. He just leaves. So we didn't know what was going on. And so the policy is always, you know, look, you don't set the lineup, you don't set the lineup. You know, for 2 weeks I didn't set the lineup, you know, and then he comes back, he sets it, and then he gets called away again. And I told him when he texted me, I said, "Hey, man, I can't, like, I've already not set it for 2 weeks." He's like, "Look, it's fine. We'll just, going forward next year, we'll just let everybody know."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Okay, that's fine. I would do it for anybody else, like, just so they know. But I can't just go back and change these things." So he's on this 3-game losing streak. Then eventually the bye weeks end, and even he's not setting his lineup, he's starting to win games. So even him, like, away in God knows where, like, he was winning games. Rich actively trying for, and I will tell you, hours a day at work. Hours.
I believe it.
A day at work. 0-13, never close to winning.
I wish I could get back into that league and look at that roster, but it'd be impossible. Even though the data is still there somewhere, I don't remember all the logins and everything for the. I still might try it though.
We might need it. Like, if you have some free time, do it, because it is something I think the fantasy football world needs to see. This is 0-13 and trying hard.
Yeah.
Like, I would see him. He would go buy magazines. He would. I mean, he, like, every website he could go to. And then the other problem is that once you've drafted your team, you can't, like, rework the whole thing.
Yeah.
And the other problem is he's so stubborn. He thought, well, eventually this is going to turn my way, because, you know, his like second pick was Hines Ward. Towards the end of Hines Ward's career.
Yeah.
Where he was very much the third wide receiver, and that was his second pick, who was also his favorite player.
Yeah.
Understandably.
Big Steeler fan. But
yeah,
it created some tension each week because you didn't want to be the one to lose to him. But like you said, none of them were ever close.
I had a week where I had beaten him by noon. By the time the noon games were over on Sunday, and I hadn't played half my roster. Like, it was over. Like, his whole team had played. It was like he had 48 points, and I'm like, oh, I've had 3 guys play, and it's 53-40.
That's funny.
48, and it's done. Like, I don't have to worry about this right now. And I wound up being, I think I beat him like 100. I mean, it was just so bad. And I didn't even come close to winning that league that year myself, but that game I was king of the world.
Yeah.
So
good stuff.
Yeah. So cautionary tale. When you think you know everything, you know nothing.
That's right.
Yeah. All right. Please let us know in the comments which theme song you like the best. I'm still leaning to theme song 1.
Same.
But we're not through all the genres yet.
Yeah, we'll do 2 more next week.
We also haven't done K-pop.
And we won't.
Are you sure? I mean, I feel like
I think we'll finish it with country and a 70s, 80s style
sitcom.
I may also try 70s like cop show.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, Starsky and Hutch kind of a thing.
Starsky and Hutch.
Hawaii Five-0.
Mannix.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Columbo.
Pull that out. There you go. Beretta.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. Well, this has been That Damn Fantasy Show. Stick around on the channel and on social media because Steve is going to give you his stardom situms in a nice little wrapped up bow here in just a second. So that can live on social media by itself. We have to go through all my rantings and ravings about Thursday Night Football, the Madden curse, who pitched the idea of rescue high surf, like those things. But those are important things. The world's going to need to know them.
Yep.
You know, and once again, and I will probably get into my thoughts on. Gender flipping the equalizer another time and how it's stupid.
You brought it up last week.
I did? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I did bring it up, yeah.
I got a nasty email from Queen Latifah.
Well, I guess she's not coming on the podcast. It's nothing to do with her. It's just like,
It wasn't nice.
Yeah, it wasn't nice. All right, that's going to do it for That Damn Fantasy Show. I'm Paul. He's Steve. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for watching That Damn Fantasy Show. Join Paul and Steve again next time. And remember, it's just fantasy, damn it. Can someone call my agent? This is a really dumb job.
We are Rogue Media Sports.